Over a century ago, President Teddy Roosevelt made it a mission of his presidency to protect America's public lands. Being an avid conservationist and outdoorsman, Roosevelt understood the importance of keeping our lands for the people, and he designated roughly 230 million acres of public land in the form of national forests, bird reserves, game preserves, national parks, and national monuments. Today, multiple federal agencies manage the nation's land and water resources, covering 650 million acres of land in the United States, about 30% of the nation's total surface area. And out here, Oregon has some of the most incredible territory imaginable. Oregon's 30 million acres of public lands attract both motorized and non-motorized users alike due to the diversity of terrain, the untamed and untarnished landscapes, and the dramatic and magnificently scenic areas for recreation. This land is a gateway to Mother Nature, a way to connect to the beauty of the great outdoors, and a means to explore, adventure, and discover what it truly means to be wild. Out west, there's the feral and tempestuous Oregon coastline with heavy vegetation, sky-high sand dunes, and vivid sea stacks amongst the surging ocean waves. Further inland comes the Cascade Mountain Range, with snow-capped peaks, active volcanoes, and vast forests of ponderosas, firs, and lodgepoles as far as the eye can see. Beyond the foothills comes the high lava plains, an area of remarkable volcanic cones, buttes, lava flows, and lava tube caves, which transitions into the Basin and Range, a dry and arid region known as sagebrush country, utilized for ranching and farming. Northeast lies the Blue Mountains, perhaps the most geologically diverse area of the state, with stunning mountains, rolling moorlands, and beautiful valleys. If you continue south, you'll encounter the Owyhee Uplands, a region of mesa lands along the Owyhee River, with deep gulches, breathtaking canyons, and millions of years of volcanic history. Oregon's variety of topography is tremendously inspiring, which is why to this day it remains one of the world's favorite places to overland. And for me, the Oregon backcountry is my home. Life in the wild calls to me in a way that nothing else does. There's no room for excess or creature comforts. The habit of non-routine becomes almost a routine in and of itself. Sleeping in a tent, living out of your truck, you know exactly what you need, what you have, and though your resources are finite, there is a subterranean thrill in what it means to live off what's there and just purely survive. Overlanding found a way into my soul years ago. I discovered that traveling Oregon's barren and beautiful desert on knotted up, dusty, washed out gravel roads had become my church. Streamlined stretches of rock beneath tires as the mountains stare down, with the blue sky so clear you forget storms and water forge these canyons with incredible fury and ardor. The feeling is one I can only endeavor to capture with a lens. A sensation of autonomy and peace with the universe. Contentment watching my dogs excitedly out the windows in the breeze. Music and wind and the crunch of gravel where the rubber meets the road. Nearly sunburnt skin that's dirt-laden and raw from exposure. The taste of dust and dehydration in your teeth. Streets with no name, some which go nowhere, and others that carry you far beyond where your tank of gas and backup canisters can supply. And while it takes some adjusting, out here, you feel safer than just about anywhere else, which serves as a reminder that nature is meant to be our place. We belong out here with the flora, fauna, and magic of the earth, for better or for worse. It's in us and a part of us. We came from this dirt, and we go back to it when our time comes to pass. Whether you are a novice at overlanding or a seasoned explorer, there are some notable ways we as adventurers can be sure to keep our lands healthy, safe, and protected from closures. And we call these overland responsibly. The most well-known rule of overlanding is to pack it in, pack it out. And when you are in a place like the Alvord Desert, where there is no one out here maintaining this area, there are no land managers out here keeping an eye on things, you really want to make sure that you are doing the best you can to leave this place better than you found it. One thing you have to make sure of is obviously packing up everything in the morning. And once you're done, doing one final clean sweep over it. Poop responsibly. When you're out in the middle of nowhere, dispersed camping, and there are no outhouses, your number one resource is going to be this lovely thing right here called a shovel. Now, your poop hole needs to be about 6 to 8 inches deep and 6 to 4 inches wide. So it takes a little effort, especially when you're on very hard ground like this. When you are digging a poop hole, make sure it's about 200 feet from any water source, campsite, or any trails. At this point, because we are dispersed camping in the middle of the Alvord, I made sure we were about 200 feet from camp, and we're ready to go. Don't burn it down. That means if you're going to be having a fire when you're out enjoying a beautiful snow day like we are today, or you're out camping in the woods, or even out in the desert, you need to make sure that you're being responsible with your fire. Always, always, always respect fire bans, and when having a fire, make sure to use a fire circle with 15 feet of clearance and never leave the fire unattended. Be sure your fire is completely out before you leave it, under every circumstance. Mind your trail manners. Stay on designated routes and trails. Be cautious, very cautious, of livestock, and also be considerate of other recreators, both motorized and non-motorized. Bummer of the day, or the trip, or expedition, depending on what you're on, but occasionally, depending on what time of year, we all run into gates and closures, but one of the most important things of overlanding is staying on designated routes and trails. So if the gate's closed, that means we don't go around and we come back when it opens, which will probably be when the snow melts in another couple weeks. So we'll give this loop another try then. This is what we like to call location unknown. Please, do not tag your location on social media. Sharing pictures is fantastic, but please keep the locations to yourself. This prevents not only misuse, but overuse of areas not designed to handle an influx of human beings. Immerse yourself. Help boost local economies by being a patron of local businesses. It's a great way to give back to the community and meet locals who can help with directions or give you hidden gems to go explore.
What do we think? Best burger ever?
Second best. Yours are number one.
Aww. Yum. Eat local, everybody. Get trained, get going. Always get some experience under your belt before an expedition. Take a course or get out with seasoned overlanders to know how to handle when things go wrong on the trail, because it's never a matter of if things will go sideways, but when. By abiding by these simple guidelines, overlanders will not only be able to leave the lands, roads, routes, and trails better than we found it, but also protect the adventure for generations to come. The scope of public lands is changing on a day-to-day basis. Late winter of 2025 saw budget cuts to land managers and federal agencies across the nation, which had and continues to have devastating impacts on accessibility, maintenance, education, and conservation. In addition to this, public lands were already facing numerous threats on the horizon, including environmental degradation, resource extraction, recreational misuse, and climate change, such as an increase in wildfires. It's terrifying to think that the land in our backyard could be taken away at any given moment. With America's public lands in greater danger of closure, it is overwhelming to witness these threats firsthand, and a gut punch to those who spend most of their free time in the outdoors. There is a struggle to balance the demand for greater use with the need to conserve and protect for the future. There is only one way forward. We must stand together and fight, because our access to lands depends on it. Be a public land steward, volunteer within your local community, and always remember to overland responsibly and lead by example. The love of our land is a universal one. It's ingrained in us, deep in our bones. And just like this one guaranteed life we get to live, we only have one planet beneath our feet that we should never take for granted. Whether you're on 2 to 4 wheels or on 2 to 4 legs, in the air or on the water, exploring is one of the most basic drives of the human spirit and has been for thousands and thousands of years. The search often isn't about the destination, but rather the desire to seek adventure, to crave what it feels to be wild, and the yearning for those moments of connection to the pastoral, to our roots, and to those elements of Mother Nature which have been here long before us and will remain long after. So let's stand together to be stewards of the land for today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. This land is our land, and this land is where the wild things are.